James had served aboard the Meridian Dawn for 3 years, but he'd never encountered anything quite like Lisa. She wasn't human. That much was obvious from the moment she'd stepped through the airlock as part of the Vryn diplomatic contingent. Her skin shimmered with an opalescent quality that shifted between silver and pale blue depending on the light. Her eyes were larger than human eyes, with vertical pupils that dilated and contracted independent of ambient brightness, seemingly in response to her emotions. She stood nearly 7 feet tall, graceful and alien, yet somehow achingly familiar in the way she moved. The Vryn were humanity's first contact with intelligent extraterrestrial life, and the galaxy had watched with bated breath as the two species attempted to forge an alliance. James, as the ship's chief cultural liaison, had been assigned to ensure the Vryn delegates felt welcome during the 3-month journey to the neutral diplomatic station at Kepler 440 Tube. But Lisa made his job difficult, not because she was hostile or uncooperative, quite the opposite. She was curious, engaging, and possessed a sharp wit that translated perfectly through the neural translators. The problem was simpler and far more embarrassing. James couldn't stop looking at her. It started innocently enough. During the welcome dinner in the observation deck, he'd found himself studying the way her people ate, how they communicated through subtle color shifts in their skin, how their language seemed to be as much visual as auditory. Professional observation, he'd told himself. But then he'd caught himself watching her laugh at something Ambassador Chen had said. The way her whole body seemed to brighten, literally radiating a warm golden hue. He'd noticed how she moved through the ship's corridors with an almost dance-like quality, adapting to the artificial gravity with more grace than most humans managed. He'd memorized the pattern of iridescent scales that traced along her jawline and down her neck, and apparently, she'd noticed him noticing. The confrontation came during a quiet afternoon in the ship's botanical garden, a vast hydroponics bay that doubled as a recreational space. James had been reviewing cultural briefings on his datapad when Lisa approached, her footsteps silent on the moss-covered walkway. "Why are your eyes always on me, human?" she asked, her voice carrying that musical quality that the translators never quite captured. James felt his face flush hot. He looked up to find her standing directly before him, those alien eyes fixed on his with an intensity that made his breath catch. Her skin had shifted to a deep indigo, an emotional state he hadn't learned to read yet. I'm sorry," he stammered, rising from his bench. "I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. It's my job to observe, to learn about your culture. Do not lie." Her skin flickered red, then back to indigo. "You observe the ambassador. You observe the other delegates. But you watch me. There is a difference." James opened his mouth, then closed it. She was right, of course. He'd been caught, and any excuse would only make it worse. "You're right," he said quietly. "I'm sorry. Among my people, staring is considered rude, and I've been incredibly rude to you." Lisa tilted her head. A gesture he'd learned indicated curiosity. "But why? Is there something wrong with me? Am I malformed by your species standards?" "What? No!" James felt panic rise in his chest. "No, you're..." He caught himself, but Lisa's eyes had narrowed. "I am what, human James?" He took a deep breath. Honesty, he decided, was the only path forward, no matter how mortifying. "You're beautiful," he said simply. "By human standards, yes, but more than that. You're fascinating. The way you move. The way your skin changes color when you feel something strongly. The way you've been trying so hard to understand us, even though we must seem strange and primitive to you. I watch you because I can't seem to help myself." The silence that followed felt eternal. Lisa's skin cycled through several colors, red, gold, violet, then settled on a soft pink that seemed to glow from within. "Among my people," she said slowly, "we have a concept that does not translate well. The closest your language comes is resonance. It is when two beings find harmony in each other's presence, when observation becomes appreciation, and appreciation becomes something more." James's heart hammered in his chest. "And is that what's happening here?" Lisa's skin brightened to a brilliant rose gold. "Why do you think I have spent so much time in spaces where you work, human James? Why do you think I have learned your name when I barely know the others?" She stepped closer, and he could see tiny starbursts of silver dancing across her skin. "Your species has a saying, the feeling is mutual, yes?" "Yes," James breathed. She reached out, her hand hovering near his face but not quite touching, a request for permission in the universal language of uncertainty and hope. He nodded, and her cool fingers brushed his cheek. Then perhaps, she said, her skin now radiating warm amber light, we should both stop pretending we are not watching each other. James laughed, a sound of pure relief and joy. The diplomatic community is going to have a field day with this. Let them talk, Lisa said, and her laughter joined his. Two different species finding harmony in the space between stars. We are writing a new chapter in both our histories. Why should we not write it honestly? And there, in the garden suspended between Earth and everywhere else, James finally understood what humanity's greatest strength had always been. The capacity to find connection in the most unlikely places, to see beauty in the strange and unknown, and to reach across the vast darkness of space with something as simple and profound as love.